Welcome to Romania, a beautiful country with more than 600 castles. Most of them, about 50, are located in Mureș County. That makes Mureș the county in Romania with the most castles. Today we invite you to discover those castles that have been restored and that transform Mureș County into a real Loire Valley. Mariafi Castle in St. Georgiu de Mureș is one of the most beautiful evidence of enduring castles in Mureș County. Owned by the Mariafs until 1945, the castle was then nationalized and made a breeding ground for pigs. After the return to the heirs, the castle was bought by the local council and received a glow, which will be even more beautifully polished through the cultural events that will give it a new breath. The pride of Gornesti is the castle here, considered to be the masterpiece of the Baroque in Transylvania, called by many the Jewel of Mureș. The castle, whose construction was started by Count Teleki Laszlo and completed after almost 100 years, stands in a beautiful dendrological park, full of chestnuts, ash, acacia, oaks and nuts. In the courtyard of the Gornesti Castle, there were also the statues made in Vienna, which embody Venus, Bacchus or Neptune, in a style not seen in all Transylvania. The castle of Dumbreviora was known as one of the most famous places to live of the aristocrats in all Transylvania, which is why its walls hosted great names of those times, who came to great hunters in the Gheorghe Mountains. It is said that this is where Edward VII, King of the United Kingdom, Ferdinand, Tsar of the Third Bulgarian Empire, or Rudolf, Archduke of Austria and Crown Prince of Austria, Hungary and Bohemia arrived. The castle, started by the Chancellor of Transylvania, Count Teleki Samuel, was continued by his great-grandson, Teleki Samuel, Samu, who remained in history as a famous explorer of Africa. Chris has on the map one of the most beautiful castles in Romania. It is also said to be the most beautiful example in Transylvania of the Renaissance architecture of housing and defense. No book about Transylvania came out of print without the image of the castle, also present on postcards or stamps. It is said that at the castle of Chris there was once one of the most appreciated libraries in Europe, after the book printing came to life in Chris. The castle of Ozd is the place where Kata Sidonia, the first poet recognized in the history of Hungarian literature, composed her first literary writings. The fame of the small town of St. Georgiu de Pădure was brought by the Redi Castle. It is one of the most beautiful castles in Romania and certainly among the first in Europe, which tells the history of the place with the emotion of history, miraculously combined in the technology of our times. The place is famous all over the world because of the fact that here was born and buried, after her death at the age of 29, Claudine Redi de Kisrede, grandmother of Queen Maria Victoria of Great Britain, great-great-great-grandmother of the King of Great Britain, Charles III. In the Reformed Church in St. Georgiu de Pădure, across the road from the castle, the Redi family has a crypt, restored with the support of the British Royal House. In the Kemeny Castle in Brancovenesti functioned the Helican Cenacle, which was, for 2 decades, the most important meeting place of the people of culture in Transylvania. In the center of Gheorghe we find Răcații Bornemisza Castle, after the names of the families who started its construction and the one who completed it. The castle had, in its heyday, a paper mill and even a porcelain manufacture. The dendrological park is home for more than 100 exotic trees, brought from America, Australia, Turkey or Japan. The hunting castle in Lăpusna was designed by the architect who also imagined the Pelis and Pelisar castles in Sinaia. Here, passionate hunting guests from the great royal families of Europe arrived at the invitation of the royal family of Romania. It is said that, in Zau de Campai, Baron Ugran, ambassador of the Austro-Hungarian Empire to Russia, built the castle as a sign of love for one of the daughters of Tsar Nicholas II. It is called the Calendar Castle because in its architecture it counts the time. It has 365 windows, 52 rooms, 4 towers, 12 hallways and 7 terraces. Haller Castle from Ogra dates back to the 17th century, an era when many noble families from Transylvania wanted so much to own it. Now, it is perhaps the best example of how a jewel can come back to life. Now that you have seen all this beautiful treasures of Romania, we hope that you've set, for your next trip to Romania, to visit at least one of these castles. And, of course, to discover Romania at its finest. See you soon, au revoir, hasta la próxima.